Hello everyone and welcome again to PIDtv. My name is Sharon Gilbert. If you're new to PIDRadio and PIDtv, we look at the news, we look at paranormal news, we look at exopolitics, we look at just about any news of the day, and we try to figure out how it fits into Christianity and the prophecy of the Bible. We encourage you, if you're new, to go to PIDRadio.com and check out our mini archives. We've been doing shows since 2005, so I think you're likely to find lots of good stuff there. And if you do, please send us a note. We would love to hear back from you. You can send it to radio@peeringintodarkness.com. Peering into darkness is what PID stands for. We look at the enemy behind the lines because we are in a spiritual battle. Well, let's take a look at the headlines today. If you are someone who subscribes to our PID News feed on Facebook, you just go to PID News and like the page. It will appear on your news feed. Or you can go to PIDnews.com, which is where I put what I consider to be the top news story of the day. And you can sort of get an idea of what I'm going to talk about in my short little news breaks during the day, and also what Derek and I will be talking about in our daily casts on PIDtv, and of course on the weekend when we do PIDRadio, which is an audio-only program for now. One of the top stories I want to discuss is coming out of the Canary Islands. You probably haven't seen this on the mainstream news, but there have been at least 1,000 microquakes. This is around 1 or so of magnitude in the Canary Islands area. And the reason that's a concern is because in the Canary Islands chain is an island called La Palma. And La Palma is, sorry, I need to go to my PID news page, is host to the Cumbre Viejo volcano. And that is a volcano which is infamous at the very least because it is one that erupted in the past and didn't quite finish sloughing off about half of the mountain. The rest of it is just poised and waiting on the side of the mountain. If a big quake were to come, if a big earthquake were to come, that side of the mountain could slough off into the Atlantic Ocean. This is just off the coast of Africa. Scientists predict that if this were to happen, this huge mountain falling into the sea, and that gets into Bible prophecy, this huge mountain dropping into the sea could very well create a tsunami that would reach all the way to New York City. I have read estimates from 1,000 feet high to 3,000 feet high that would inundate the east coast of the United States. It would take out what many call spiritual Babylon, which is the World Trading Center. The towers that fell back in 2001 was only the beginning of the fall of spiritual Babylon or financial Babylon. There may indeed be a real rebuilding of the actual city of Babylon one day, but for now we definitely have to relate economic and the spiritual Babylon falling, not just in 2001, but if a tsunami were to take out New York. I got to tell you, that would be part of it too. Let me also go to, if I can, here we go. This is an article that I posted to PID News Wall that honestly, it's just perplexing. It takes place down in Australia. If you live in the Australia area and you are familiar with this, I would love to hear from you. Apparently, wallabies have been getting stoned in poppy fields. Now, this is bad enough, but apparently they are so stoned, this is the claim, they are so stoned that they are creating crop circles. This is the strangest explanation for crop circles that I have ever seen. So take a look at that story. It's at PIDnews.com on our, PID News at the Facebook page. Another story that's coming out today is that there's a scientist who claims he has found molecular oxygen emanating from the Orion Nebula. The reason this is important is because the Orion Nebula has been the seat of pagan worship for millennia. It goes back to Sumer, it goes back to Babylon, it goes back to Egypt. If you're familiar with the story of Osiris and Isis, then that is related in there. There are so many pagan cult organizations, sorry, brain isn't working, need coffee, that look to Orion and worship this area and believe that the gods came from Orion, and when they believe that the gods will return again from Orion. So please take a look at that story today. Here's a very strange story. I often talk about the mechanization of humanity and the hacking of our genome, and I've noticed that my video is pausing as it's being recorded, so I hope this turns out. But apparently in Japan, robot seals have been used to soothe tsunami victims. Robot seals. So take a look at that story too. This is very strange. Why couldn't they find a dog? For goodness sake, dachshunds love to take care of people. Many dogs do. Let's see, there's one more story that I wanted to talk about, and that is there is a tent city that has been growing up in the United States, and it again is one of those stories that isn't getting a whole lot of play. With everything that's been going on in Washington, honestly, that's about the only story you're seeing these days. There are so many Americans who are out of work and out of a house. So take a look at this story. It's called The Tent City of New Jersey, where desperate victims of the economic slump are forced into makeshift homes living in a forest. Derek is out doing his calls today as an outside salesman for a steel company. He should be home, I hope, by 5 o'clock. He has barbershop tonight, so he may be sort of pressed for time, and there is a possibility that we will not be able to do a PID News, a PID TV show together tonight. I hope we can, because I really, really love doing shows with him. And he's able to, on the other computer, he is able to insert our little PID TV graphic, the little cute TV graphic at the beginning and the end. We are so delighted for all of you who have subscribed to these videos. We know that they have a long way to go as far as the technical aspects. We know that they are certainly not terribly professional, but we're doing our best. This is brand new to us. We've been doing the audio version for so long now, and the Lord has laid it on our hearts that we need to do videos as well. And as long as we are able to control it, we will keep all of these videos on the archives for as long as possible. And any video tips you have, I'd love to hear from them. Someone asked me yesterday on YouTube what was in the background. Let me just move my head. You can see how the television in the background is actually the paused version of an ancient aliens show. I've been watching the entire series. Again, peering into darkness. What we do is take a look at what people are being programmed to believe. And they are being programmed by the History Channel to believe that aliens seeded mankind on this planet. Well, I think that's going to have to be it for now. In the meantime, I pray for each and every one of you, those of you who are joining me in reading through the Bible in 90 days. I encourage you to keep up with it. There are days when I honestly just am not able to work it into that day. I should never ever have a day where I end it thinking I didn't get the Lord's Word in today. It's so important to do. And if I skip a day, I honestly have to just catch up. The beautiful thing about the Bible in 90 days is that if you do miss some, you just come in on that day, the scheduled day, and pick it up the next 3-month period. So if you miss it, you can catch up later. Don't worry about that. But the big thing is don't despair and get so discouraged that you quit reading the Bible altogether. Well, that's it for now. Keep praying for us. We'll keep praying for you. Let us know how we're doing. Send us comments. And again, radio@peeringintodarkness.com. We love you all. Thanks again. Bye-bye.